Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Unicorn Dust Designs. My name is Sammy, and on today's video, we are going to be using Marquee and Hay Sailor to create some patriotic DIYs. It might be too soon for some, but Memorial Day is just around the corner. So I wanted to test the waters by showing you three super cute DIYs. Our first one is going to be with a rolling pin. Now, I already coated this with Salvation Solution, which is a wood blocker by DIY. Now I'm just going to be measuring my pin to see where my middle point is. I did 2 other rolling pins on my live from last week, so definitely head over and check that out. I have it on Facebook and YouTube. I used some painter tape and I just went around the rolling pin where we marked the middle. Now I'm taking Hay Sailor, and Hay Sailor is going to be our closest to navy blue in the DIY paint collection, and I'm going to paint the entire side of this, including the handles. I did give this 2 coats of blue, and of course I always show you what it looks like dried down versus when it's wet. It is such a beautiful blue color. Now I'm going to take my fine grit sanding block and I am going to distress that down all over the blue, the body of it, the handles of it. You can also wet distress this as well, or don't distress it at all. After I clean that up, I'm going to get these reusable stencils that I created on my Cricut. I knew that I was probably going to use these rounded circles in a future project, so that's why they're in a round shape. So I'm going to take my stencil brush from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take vintage linen, and I am just doing a very light coat on my brush. I'm drying as I'm going around the rolling pin so I don't smear my paint. And I am going to follow this all around the rolling pin. Now, I decided that the big ones just weren't quite enough for me. So I'm also going to use the smaller star stencils that I made and kind of go around and fill in those blanks. After I'm done with this and it completely dries, I'm going to move that painter's tape over the blue part. Now, you want to leave a hairline of that blue sticking out. That way you can overlap your paint colors and you don't have any gap showing in between the 2 colors. Now I'm going to take vintage linen and I am going to give it 2 coats on the body of the rolling pin and 1 coat on the handle. I really didn't have to do the handle. I just wasn't thinking at the time, so you can skip that part if you recreate this. After I'm done doing my coats of white, we are going to go ahead and grab our painter's tape. Now, I was trying to be precise and space these properly and line them up. However, once I was done, I realized there wasn't enough space, so I had to end up eyeballing it and moving those stripes myself. All right, now once I'm done doing that, we're going to grab Marquee. Now there's 2 reds in DIY paint. There's Marquee and Carnival Red. Marquee is going to be your true red. This is going to be your country red, your Christmas red. This is the red that you want to grab for patriotic DIYs. And yeah, here, Hank. And we are going to paint this on. I did decide that I wanted to paint the handle and the top part or the base of the handle, I guess. I don't know what you would call it. Red as well. I blanked out because Hank's barking. Just Louise. All right. So this is where I end up painting the handles. I thought about leaving that white as is, but it just wasn't looking right to me. So I ended up painting all of that red. I just was very careful about my lines when I was going right here. So, or you could have just painted it all red and then done the white stripes. I mean, you do you. I will say that my intention was for the bottom half was to put vinyl stars on the wood pin, then paint over and peel back the vinyl to see the wood. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. Okay, so now I'm going to take the wet distressing method and I'm going to do that for just the red sections. I'm not going to touch the white or distress the white down. After I dry that with my heat gun, I'm going to come in with our clear wax and I'm going to clear the entire pin. I'm also going to grab our dark DIY wax and we are going to kind of brush that on the edges. And then whatever I have left over on the brush, I'm going to put throughout the entire body of our rolling pin just to give it more of an aged look. I am going to be restocking my DIY paints and waxes. I do have the dark wax right now. I have Marquee and I have Hey Sailor in stock. So head over to the website. The link is in the description box for you. And keep in mind, once you hit this with your wax, it is cleared. You don't have to coat it with anything else. Let it cure overnight and then it's ready to display or sell or do what you want with it. And look at how cute this little vignette is. I absolutely love it. If you are somebody that, gets rolling pins every time you head to the thrift store like me, then this is going to be a beautiful project to do for the patriotic seasons or just everyday decor if that's what you like. So drop me a flag in the comments if you liked this DIY. All right, our next one is going to be super easy, you guys. I am going to take these patriotic flowers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take the decrepit dust from DIY. I'm going to rub it on to my flowers. This is going to give it like a dingy, dirty, old look. I did try staining these with tea, but the flowers would not take the color whatsoever. So my second thought was the decrepit dust, and it worked beautifully. This will be coming in my next shipment along with the white decrepit dust as well. And you could see right here how it looks just like dirt is on it, basically. You guys know I like the crusty and dirty stuff. So after I'm done with that, we're going to grab this copper piece, and I'm just going to fill it with scraps of my floral foam. I don't glue anything down because I don't want to hurt my copper, okay? So I am very lucky and usually find copper pieces at the thrift stores, so make sure you're on the hunt for garage sales and thrift stores. I am then going to take some fabric that I tore into pieces, and we're going to wrap that around our copper. It's almost like a little pot or utensil holder, and tie that in a knot right here, and then I'm going to cut the excess of that off. I just wanted some kind of like fringy something hanging. Now this fabric has a little bits of gold glitter on here. So I took this gold glitter star and I hot glued that on. And then I'm just going to add my florals to this. Now copper, you guys, is going to be such a beautiful way of adding decor into your patriotic pieces. It is so vibrant and it looks great with the red, white, and blue colors. So if you have any copper, if you thrift copper, pull it out and use it in your decor this coming season because it is definitely going to be a standout. So after playing with the arrangements, we are done. Like I said, a quick and easy DIY using copper pieces. I love how this turned out. However, I don't know if the star looks tacky or not. I pulled it in because there's kind of glitter in between the flowers. You have the brass handles and then you have the glitter in the fabric. If you do think it's kind of tacky, then comment with a star. That way I know to take it off and replace it with something else. Don't worry, you won't offend me. Go ahead, drop the star if you think it's tacky. It's okay. Okay, our last one. Oh my gosh, you guys. So pretty. So this is a spindle that I got from Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to use Salvation Solution, the wood blocker, on this. Again, this will be restocked as well in my next order. And I'm going to coat all of my spindles. Now, this is just one of those generic spindles. You guys can head to the hardware store if you guys do not have any luck finding them on Facebook Marketplace. And I believe at Menards, they're under $6. So they aren't that pricey for just the standard generic spindles. And I cut 3 pieces out of 1 spindle. So it's an option if you guys can't find them used. After I'm done coating this with a Salvation Solution, we're going to grab that marquee and I am going to go around this. And at first I was like, oh, I need to paint this, then distress it. It's like, no, I'm just giving it a messy coat so that wood comes through. I'm not going to be nice and neat here. After that, I'm going to do one of them with vintage linen. This white is so beautiful. And now we're going to go in with Hey Sailor. After I'm done painting all of them, I did decide to stress it down just a little bit more on those hard edges of the spindles, just for the marquee one and the Hey Sailor one, just bringing more of that wood out. Now I'm going to take Big Top, and Big Top is a clear coat. It kind of acts like a polyacrylic. It's a top coat. You could use it on furniture. So we are going to use it on these 3 pieces. I feel like it's just going to help me lock in more of those tannins and stuff that the wood blocker is going to. And I wanted to darken up my colors just a tad bit instead of using wax. So after we're done with the Big Top and that dries, I am going to go and grab the red one, and we are going to drill holes as close to the middle as we can, and we're going to do that with all 3 pieces. Now I think you guys know where this is heading, and after I'm done with that, I'm going to take some twine. Now I braided this because I had a different image in my head and it didn't work out, but I will say it did help get the twine in the hole. So I always hot glue the end of the twine. It helps it not fray as you are sticking it into the hole. And I'm just putting hot glue down in there. I cut the excess off. And see, I thought I was gonna do like the braided piece so it would be nice and like sturdy and then have the frayed pieces hang out, but it just didn't look right. So I cut them down, and then I'm just pulling apart the pieces of twine to make it look more frayed and like sporadic. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the red. Put some hot glue in there, stick my twine, cut the top off, and then fray it. And I love these. All right, now I'm taking 2 pieces of paper. I just cut them in a tag shape, and I'm using scraps. So I didn't want to show the white back of them, so I just layered 2 different scrapbook pieces of paper together to create a tag. And after that dries, we are going to get out our IOD stamps. If you invest in any stamps, you guys, get these letterpress stamps because it's 3 different fonts in here and you could use them for so much. So I'm going to spell out my word before pushing it down. I take my kitchen mat, I'm going to stamp it with some black IOD ink, and we got boom. Hey, this looks so cute. And I was so impressed, you guys. I actually found a hole puncher. Yeah, I found a hole puncher. I mean, where was that? So I'll punch a hole in it. Then I get this beautiful brown and red twine. I'm going to wrap it around the top, tie it in a knot. We're going to put that little tag on there. I think this just helps kind of identify what these spindles are for those that maybe aren't as crafty as we are. And then I tie it in a bow. Now for this one, I am wrapping this around to create a finger bow. I will leave my bow video down in the description box, and I am going to cut the loops in half. And this is just going to give us a frayed kind of rustic look. And I am going to hot glue that to the corner of our marquee spindle here. I also add a button, but of course I have to take out every single button and look at it, and then I end up going with the first button, see it up top, that, you know, I found before I even poured it out. And I'm gonna hot glue that just to give it a little bit more pizzazz, okay? We always need to accessorize our things. I think that's the funnest part about crafting. All right, then of course I had to just kind of bring that twine in to the blue. So I'm simply just going to wrap it twice with this twine. And I think it just kind of brings all 3 of them in without going overboard on this one. And look at how cute these little firecracker spindles came out. Great way to utilize old spindles if you have them, or go get one at the hardware store. If you guys enjoyed this DIY, drop me a heart down in the comments. Thank you guys so much. I know this video is short, but I wanted to just give you a little taste of Patriotic DIYs so that I can get a feel for if you guys are into it or not. So I hope you guys have an amazing week. I'll be back on Thursday for Thrifted Thursday and Saturday for another DIY video. Have an amazing day. Bye. Maggie, are you moving and grooving? You stay away from the stairs. I love how she rolls. Yep. Roll it. Roll it to one side. What side are you going on now? The other side. Mover and groover. Oh, we got one leg, a side leg shuffle. There we go. Good job.